I was a dishwasher at a restaurant.
What was the name of the restaurant?
Back then it was Bristoni's, Mr. Bristoni. Yeah,
okay.
It was an Italian restaurant. I just remember every day being done with that job. You know, you're soaked. You know, you're covered in dirt, and it's literally one of the like bottom entry position. Like, you're gonna think about your life for a minute after you've done that job for a few weeks, and you're really gonna reassess some things.
Yeah.
But to be able, like I said, to be the CEO of a company you started, and to be able to look out the window of that office and see that building and know, okay, I grew up a few miles from here. This is where my first job was, you know, and I brought my life full circle back here. You know, it was powerful.
This episode is sponsored by Remedical. Hey, veterans. Ever feel like navigating the VA disability claims process is like trying to march in quicksand? I don't know how much you know about quicksand. It's not great to march through. Well, here's some good news. Remedical, that's Romeo Echo Echo Medical, is here to support you as you march right out of that mess, and you can keep moving forward. Whether it's a first-time claim or an increase in your existing status, Remedical connects you with independent providers who can document your symptoms with the precision of a sniper. Only Carlos Hathcock is a better sniper than them. They provide the accurate and thorough medical evidence you need to support your VA claim. With a network of experienced physicians, Remedical has helped over 75,000 veterans. Can you believe that, Blas? 75,000 veterans.
That's a big number.
That's a big number, but we're going to blow right past it. They'll explain all your options before you even think about paying anything. No more mystery, just clarity and competence. At the After Action podcast, we're not just fans of Remedical, we're customers too. Blas, what's it like working with Remedical?
Listen, Zach, I'm not going to lie. When you presented the option of going to Remedical, I was super skeptical, man. I was already done with the VA process. They threw me through the ringer, had me waiting for who knows how long. Anywhere from 6 to 12 months is what I experienced. I know there are veterans out there who have probably experienced a lot longer. When you had mentioned Remedical, like I said, I was skeptical. I gave them a call, though. Like you said, free consultation. I had nothing left to lose. I picked up the phone, gave them a call, told them exactly what I was going through and the troubles that I was experiencing. They said, no problem. Just send us over your medical records. We'll take a look at them. And if we can help you, we'll reach back out. Not even 24 hours later, I got a phone call telling me that my ratings were not sufficient to what the standard actually was, and that if I wanted to move forward, they'd be glad to help me. Almost 12 months later, I finally got my rating back from the VA, where I couldn't be more happy with the results. If you're out there and you're struggling and you're sick of running through the VA process and you're tired of getting to run around, go to Remedical. I promise you they'll help you and they'll guide you through the process with no pressure and get you the rating you deserve.
I couldn't think of a better personal endorsement than that right there. I got to watch him go through the process myself, and it has been a life-changing outcome for him and his family. Don't settle for frustration or unfavorable decisions. Check out the link in the description for a free consultation and $200 off Remedical services. It's time to get what you deserve. Hey guys, Veteran with a Sign here, and I've got something game-changing to share with you. If you're a protector, a parent, or just someone who wants to be ready for whatever life throws at you, this is for you. The USCCA just dropped an unbelievable deal on self-defense training that you can't afford to miss. Here's the scoop. They've launched a new site where you can go sign up for over 1,600 in-person self-defense courses nationwide. And the kicker? They're 100% free through the end of the year. That's right, no strings attached. This is your chance to learn real-world self-defense skills from experienced instructors in your own community. Whether it's building a home protection plan, mastering situational awareness, or diving deep into the laws of self-defense, these expert-led classes are designed to give you the confidence and tools to protect yourself and your loved ones. Don't wait. Go to uscca.com/veteranwithasign right now. Find a course near you and sign up today. Opportunities like this don't come around often, and spots will fill up fast. Take action now, invest in your safety, and level up your skills. That's uscca.com/veteranwithasign to get started today.
Welcome to a very special road edition of the After Action podcast. I don't know where this is going to go, but it's a conversation I want to have. I'm here as far north as I've ever been. I never thought I'd make it. I'm in Michigan. Where am I on the hand?
Oh, you're like right in the thumb mission area here.
I'm in the thumb of Michigan.
Yeah.
Here at Transcend, the premier, world's leading best health company in the world, preventive health company in the world.
Preventative.
We've been talking about a lot of stuff, and I'm here with the CEO himself, Ernest Colling, the man, myth, legend. Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, thank you for having me on the podcast. I appreciate that.
Dude, this is awesome. I mean, I don't often go to work and get to work out and then just have a good chat and hang out. I had ideas in my head of Detroit and Michigan. That it was kind of what I thought it was, and then we kept going. I mean, the
outskirts are still the outskirts, man.
Yeah,
and then you get towards the heart of the city, and it's like, oh, all right, thank God. It's you're not sure if you're post-apocalypse or
Yeah, it's like the set of Last of Us out there. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was looking for Pedro Pascal, but it was it's fun. It's funny enough. For Mother's Day, I went and had Detroit style pizza.
Buddies?
No, not here. There's a place in Nashville
okay.
A place called Emmy Squared.
Oh, I wonder if it's like it's probably like one of the Buddy-esque ones that they moved down.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm kind of weary of deep dish pizza because, like, people in Chicago, they'll
Chicago.
It's a whole thing, but that's just soup. That's just upside down meat. The corn, then the crust and the cheese and the sauce is just too much.
No. With Detroit, we just squared steep dish, and then we just put the sauce on top.
It's so good.
It is.
It's so good. I was unfamiliar with it,
well,
but
the best probably in the town in this area is actually Buddies. And
Buddies?
They're the ones that are known for the Detroit pizza, and they're about a half a mile from here.
Temptation all around here.
It is.
It's very nice here. I don't want to say what town we're in. So I don't know if you want.
You can. We're in Auburn Hills, Michigan.
We're in Auburn Hills, Michigan, home of the Auburn Hills.
Yeah.
Go fight in Auburn Hills. I don't know, but this is where
Oakland University D1 school. That's the one we're right next to.
Okay.
Yeah, and
you grew up here.
I did. They're the Bears, aren't they? I don't know.
Go Bears.
I feel bad because my wife went to Oakland. I should know they're the mascot. My brother went there too. Damn. Oops.
These things happen. Yeah. Jamie, can you pull that up for us? No, Sarah, we're surrounded by so many good people here, but like, I just have to say, you guys have been really welcoming and kind and gracious from start to finish. The hotel is immaculate. I'm going to sleep outside because I don't feel worthy of it. But the outside is gorgeous as well. They were telling me about downtown Rochester. Is that
Rochester?
Rochester.
So great. Are you at the Royal Park then?
Is that what? Yes, I am.
All right. So that is that's my hometown.
It's so nice.
Awesome.
It reminds me of the town I live in, actually. Because I live in a town called Franklin. So it's south of Nashville, and it kind of has that same kind of small town vibe to it.
Yeah, definitely. Rochester is like small town but posh. It's got a little bit. Yeah.
I'm not gonna like lie on it. It's really nice, and I love it, and I'm sure you do too. Like it's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome, but I mean, you're kind of the king of Michigan, is what I'm being told, and you grew up here, but. You're a long way from where you grew up, right?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, ironically, I grew up just a few miles from here. Real blue-collar neighborhood, not the worst area, not the best area, but just a very down-to-earth area. Kids still got in fights. Mm-hmm. Parents watched everybody's kid. Everybody sat down at dinner, not everybody eating out kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Just very salt of the earth, which is a great way to grow up. Very humble. There was 7 of us living in a 1,200 square foot house with 1 bathroom.
Whoa! So
we played outside a lot. Those kind of things. And you go to appreciate, that gives you a drive, like a chip on your shoulder, that you want to come from something and become something. And just kind of throughout life and everything that happened, being able to come back and have the opportunity to do this, to bring it so close to home. That's what we were talking about earlier, is with the intention behind the company and the intention behind the building and everything. It's to put resources back into the community, whether it be this community or the veteran community, or just, our community in general overall. But, obviously to bring that full circle is great. Ironically, the first job I had was a restaurant in the corner from here.
Okay.
And our old office, it was visible from my office. And I was a dishwasher. at a restaurant.
What was the name of the restaurant?
Back then it was Bristoni's, Mr. Bristoni. Yeah,
Okay.
It was an Italian restaurant.
Okay.
Great dude, by the way. Awesome
Great dude.
guy. Yeah.
Shout out Mr. Bristoni's.
Yeah. Well, don't know how he's doing now, but he had a great restaurant. And, I just remember every day being done with that job, you're soaked, you're covered in dirt. And it's literally one of the, bottom entry position. Like, you're going to think about your life for a minute after you've done that job for a few weeks, and you're really going to reassess some things.
Yeah.
But to be able, like I said, to be the CEO of a company you started, and to be able to look out the window of that office and see that building and know, okay, I grew up a few miles from here. This is where my first job was, and I brought my life full circle back here, was powerful. That's the stuff that has given me the energy and the ability and confidence to kind of continue to reach for more and try for more and to improve and do better. Leave something better than it was when I started.
Yeah. I mean, home is where the heart is.
Yeah.
When you were back there scrubbing those dishes, is that when you started thinking about going on your great adventure and joining the military?
No.
No?
No, I wasn't thinking about anything, man. 16-year-old kid, I was a troublemaker, having fun, going to parties, doing everything that I shouldn't have been doing at that age, into sports, all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't shortly thereafter. Like I said, it was 98 would have been my senior year. And that was right when all of the auto industry here just took a giant crash. So plan B needed to come up pretty quick. And that was military.
Can you speak a little bit towards that? Because I've heard about how bad it was.
Oh, devastating, man! It crushed this place. And we're not even talking like the '08 recession, the Great Recession. We're talking 10 years prior to that, literally 1998, and that was when NAFTA was pushed through by the Clinton administration, and it did a lot of good things, I'm sure. But the thing it definitely did was take about half of the manufacturing jobs that were in this area. And just overnight, they started going away. Wow. And that means all the support for them went and the infrastructure behind them. And then it just kept going down and down and down. And you had generations of families that had, built their livelihoods around that. And, they were CNC operators, there are people around the line, electricians, everybody just kind of followed in whatever footsteps, whatever shop you're going to go to. And once that didn't exist, a lot of people really had to figure out what to do pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I was one of them.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, no, it was definitely disheartening. I think it helped us in the long run. I think we started diversifying as a community a little sooner. We started realizing just how dependent we were on the automotive industry. And, I think that positioned us better that when the recession did hit in 2008, Detroit, this wasn't anything new.
It was nothing.
Yeah. There's another Tuesday.
Just another Tuesday. Well, what made you pick the Army?
They would take me.
They would take you?
They would take me.
Yeah?
Yeah. High school dropout, GED, I did well on the ASVAB. I think I scored like a 70-something, and my GT was awesome. Over 110. So, I had all the stuff. But the other services, they all required high school diploma. They all required some college or something because we're talking, pre 9/11.
Yeah.
And
not during my time.
No.
They were there were sobriety tests that were harder than it was to get in 2007. They were just like, "What's your name, Zachary? How do you spell it? Doesn't matter. Line up." They didn't care.
I came in right before that.
That was when it was hard. People don't talk about that because it's not really understood. But it used to be legitimately hard to get in the military.
The bitch of it is be the guy that goes in, in 2000.
Yeah.
And then a year later, it's like you've just gone through all this training, and you did have the harder to get in kind of thing, and then it was like, boom, now it switches. Whatever. It was all good. But it was kind of funny, seeing everybody come in afterwards, that's an ASVAB waiver, that's a waiver.
That's Zach, the ASVAB waiver,
we'll figure out something for him, doorstop, whatever. But
he's good at holding security. Yeah, that's the trade.
Stand there. Yeah.
Stand there. Don't fall.
Yeah.
Follow the person in front of you.
Yeah. So for me, you know, like I said, I needed an opportunity, and the timing and the way things happened for me, that was my opportunity.
Perfect.
And, you know, that meant going in, open contract, 11 X-ray, and
that's scary.
yeah.
I mean, the Marine Corps, when I did it, you could pick a field. You couldn't get a job, but you could pick a field. So, like, if you pick infantry, you could be a rifleman, machine gunner, assaultman, or a mortarman, or sometimes tow gunner. But, like, that's as specific as it got. But the Army gets very down to the exact job, right?
Yeah, they really do, at least most of the time. Now, 11 X-ray was infantry, but it also was, like, needs of the military as far as duty station, whether you're going to be armor or you know, Lightfoot or airborne or any of those things. And there were a few other smaller things that it meant too, but pretty much, you know, whatever they needed, that's where you were going.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where did that take you?
Ended up taking me to Korea, of all places. Yeah. And
Korea, the Japan of the Army.
the Japan of the Army, just not as cool. And yeah, definitely a little bit different type of environment up there.
Yeah, I've heard that guys go there, like in the Marines, it's always Okinawa, Japan, and like the experiences may vary. Yeah.
Yeah, you're either going there because you did something wrong or you're getting divorced is usually the, you know, the key. So you had a bunch of guys sitting in the barracks that were either new to the military, newly demoted in the military, or newly divorced or about to be.
Sounds like my kind of people.
Oh, it was great on Saturday night. But
I bet it was.
yeah, hell of a Monday morning. I remember those too. But yeah, I was an infantry unit out there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you did that, and 9/11 happened during your contract?
It did happen during my contract, and I was still at that point over in Korea.
What was that like?
well,
Hearing about 9/11, you're in the Army in Korea. What was that moment like for you?
Man, I was in a unit that was like doing security kind of things. It was like a classified Cheyenne Mountain bunker kind of thing out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it was a different type of unit at that time. So we were kind of sequestered from a lot of things. But when we saw what was going on, you know, it started to make us concerned about what was happening next. And then obviously things started getting confusing and getting out of control. And next thing you know, you've got DEFCON levels changing and all sorts of things unraveling.
And they weren't telling you right away, were they? They were like, DEFCON level what? Blah, blah, blah.
And what we did was so off the beaten path.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were in constant communication with certain things, and you know, we were a little bit sequestered. So you know, we were catching up to the party, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about, like, because you're basically on an island at that point doing those things. You're probably in a limited area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Rotating, 7 days out, 7 days on, stuff like that.
yes, like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, essentially it was the afterward part, because then right up until that point, you think you're doing something, you know, pretty important. Yeah, we're actually guarding something, doing something. And then all of a sudden, military gets to go do its real job. Infantry is out there doing everything else. And you're like,
Yeah.
I want to go.
Yeah.
And then, you know, your duty is where your duty is.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, that was kind of that. But, you know, good experience all around. But, you know, definitely, as far as like experiencing that from that perspective, it was surreal. You know, hard to actually put into a kind of a frame of mind. It felt almost imaginary. So
Yeah. It does feel like the whole world shifted.
never felt like anything was the same again.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of like, it was a weird time, you know, because like I said, going the high school thing, and then, you know, a short period, you know, 14, 15 months later, something else major happening and something else. The world was just changing so quickly, you know. Guys in my generation, you know, because I'm a little older, we had to figure some shit out pretty quick, because it was either figure it out or get eaten up.
Yeah. Improvise, adapt, overcome, as they say.
Yeah.
So you did one enlistment in the Army, and then you moved to contracting after that?
Yeah, I moved to contracting. Ended up working with 2 different agencies. One of them, I was like a seated contractor, which is like a subject matter expert technical assistance. A little different. It's like being able to be in a govy position, but they don't want to put a govy in it, kind of a thing. And they were doing all sorts of weird contracts and stuff like that between 2009 and 2013, 14. And that position fell in at that time. But, they were private contract positions, but they were, specific to a certain agency for a certain reason, that kind of shit. But yeah, did that. And those really led me Iraq multiple times, Afghanistan multiple times.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What are some moments that like stand out to you during that time? I mean, because you came in pre 9/11, and then you go from being in the Army, which is at that time, very, very traditional. Prior to the global war on terror, and then you jump to like working with private contracting, the PMCs, who were basically shaping the global war on terror at that time. We didn't have enough. That's what people were like, why? I don't ever feel like that's talked about enough. People are like, why were there so many companies early on? We didn't have military.
None. So you had to get guys out of retirement, and those were the guys that were doing the contracts. And a lot of them had a lot of unique experience, even as far back as Vietnam. Like we had a couple guys on one of the PMCs that was.
Yeah, this reminds me of Saigon, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We had guys that were on the gun trucks, right, with a deuce and a half that they just load up with sandbags and 50 cals and all sorts of shit. So he was one of those guys.
Just bros being bros.
Yeah, and he was the one putting the convoy plans together for shit that we were rolling with. I was like, well, at least he's got the experience for it.
Yeah, he's got the experience, that's for sure. Is there anything in particular that like it's like a moment that like sticks out, or something that where you're like, I can't believe this is happening?
Man, multiple times, but I think the biggest one for me was, we were talking a little bit earlier, a couple of events that I was circled around, overseas. And, it was that one firefight, little ambush kind of situation. And then ended up later meeting up with a former teammate and, going, that was kind of the thing that opened up my ability to be a contractor with one of the, companies that was on an agency contract. But the long and short of it, I knew that I was going to finally get a real opportunity, like a real job. Like it wasn't going to be with a rifle. Like I didn't have to, sit and, fight my way through something to literally earn the dollar.
Yeah.
This was going to be something where I was going to be able to do something intellectual. Didn't know exactly what the hell that meant, or what the hell I was actually going to be doing, but I knew it was going to be different. And, it was definitely scary as shit, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it happen, but fake it as long as you can until you figure it out.
That's my secret.
Yeah.
People think I know what I'm doing. I'm just like...
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, this was an accident. Look what happened. But
it's working out.
Yeah, I would say it's doing okay.
It's working out. You guys have a Megatron out there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start spreading rumors about Transcend.
Yeah. Just Megatron.
It's just a Megatron. It's a live-action Megatron.
Yeah.
He has to work union hours, though, and he gets upset.
Yeah.
I feel like that would work.
He reports to Optimus.
He reports to Optimus,
Optimus just dicks with them, gives them shitty assignments all the time.
Yeah, that's why we never went back to the moon. I agree.
Yeah.
Because Transformers are up there. But
yes.
So you're doing the contracting gig, right?
Yeah.
Learning a lot.
Yeah.
At the peak of contracting time. Dude, y'all...
Yeah, we made money.
I'm not gonna say we turned a blind eye, but we turned 2 of them.
Yeah, we could. It was the Wild West. We could do whatever the hell we wanted.
Yeah,
and
I was watching those videos on Live Leak.
Yeah,
of guys just in like excursions or Hiluxes, just banging and clanging, doing whatever they wanted.
Oh yeah, we were the tactical cool guy stuff that never left the fob and everything else in between. And I had enough of my own stuff too. I'm sure of it back then. But yeah, no, I mean, I remember going in and getting checks signed for $2.5–3 million on a monthly basis.
What makes a military contractor king of the mountain? You definitely got a Rolodex like no one knows, right? You could probably call your friends at the blank, 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 and get a job tomorrow. I'm not going to name them. Jack Ryan works there. But you could do it in a heartbeat. But you're like, I like fitness. I want to start a healthcare company.
I got overwhelmed.
Is that where it
man.
starts, or does it start somewhere else?
Started somewhere else completely. I got overwhelmed mentally.
Yeah.
There is a toll it takes on you when you're always in a mode where something is so important that you're working on that it takes precedent over anything else, and it's that important. But then I think people that do that kind of get this identity with themselves that they're the only ones that can and should be trusted to do these kind of jobs and certain things. And you almost get addicted to it, or, I don't know the way to put it, but I felt that I would be abandoning my entire country for whatever if I just didn't keep doing exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
It just became all consuming. And
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I always say at one point in my life, I was addicted to chaos.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really what it is.
And the worst part is I thrive in it, and as I'm sure you do, right?
Oh yeah.
So then a part of you craves the drug.
Yeah.
And then you're in this cycle where they're paying you to do it. You're good at it.
Yeah.
And then you need it. It's like, it's the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah, it really is. It is the perfect storm for that kind of shit. And I did it. It got me. I was coming up on a 8th rotation. Overall between all the things that I had done, and like I said, they're not nearly like the ones that other people do. But yeah,
brother, time is time. 8's a lot.
Yeah, it was. And the wife, was, God bless her. I knew her my entire life since I've been 5 years old, and she put up with so much shit that when she finally said, hey, can we look at something else seriously? Yeah. We had a daughter, real young at the time, and, we didn't have anyone else either. When I was gone, it was just her and our daughter. Family and everybody else was kind of not in the place. So something had to change. Yeah. And, Charlie, who I introduced you to earlier, got me into the IT thing, and, that was a complete different world for me. I realized this much. I realized that even though the pay was amazing and I was learning a lot about technology and how it could be used in business, the hardest discipline I ever had was listening to a group of businessmen talk about the importance of rebates on cases of Campbell's soup because it was going to save them millions of dollars. And they were going to spend this, $500,000 in this time period on this project to make it happen. And it was like the biggest thing in the world to them. Yeah. And I was like, I want to fucking blow my brains out right now if I have to sit through another one of these. I promised myself.
This is like business school or something?
Well, this was actually on the job.
Oh, so this is on the job. So you're talking to normal people.
Yeah, I had transitioned to this normal person job, and this is what the real life situation was. And
that jump is rough.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I think I'm fine. And then you're in those moments where you're like, this is the most boring thing I've ever been.
No, I promised myself right there and then somehow, some way, I would find an opportunity. I would do something else. Yeah. And, I was working out, doing the fitness thing. Wife's been real big into it. It's kind of the thing that kind of kept us tied together even when I did deploy. But, with COVID hitting and everything else, I needed certain medications and, I wasn't able to get them at that point. So not being able to get the meds, needing them, being into this kind of fitness thing, I had to come up with a solution. So I just...
You're like, I need to start a company.
Yeah, pretty much. Man. I need to start a company because I figured that these things could be done through telemedicine. Because when I went to the clinic that was actually local to here, after we had gone through a few steps and everything was explained, it was a whole new world, and it wasn't anything that I had seen out anywhere else. So I kept trying to learn more and more about the peptides and the protocols and the physicians and all these other things. And they're non-controlled, they're amino acids, they're very safe to use. They've got a good history. They can be shipped in the United States. Doctors can. So I started putting all these pieces together. And then COVID and the Ryan Act getting repealed because it had to do with controlled medications opened up a window where it made it easy for testosterone to also be into that category. So when that happened, I was able to put a network of pharmacies together that had all the licensing in all 50 states, put contracts together with Quest and LabCorp to have a nationwide coverage for all the blood work. and found a physician and a few medical directors that had all the MPIs and DEA numbers we needed to assimilate everything. And I just kind of put it all together and figured it out one step at a time. Literally one brick at a time.
I only laugh because you're like, I just put it all together. But I like your approach of like systemically breaking down it, of like piece by piece by piece.
Yeah.
Okay, we have this, we have that. And this all started in your home?
My basement.
Your basement? Oh yeah, basements are big here. They're not big back home.
Yeah, no, man,
weird.
they are. Michigan basement's a thing. No.
Why are they a thing? Is it like where the bros go to hang? The basement?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you never know what's down there. No, I mean, it's like I think it's like Michigan basement parties, sports,
That's a thing though, right? Yeah. Okay.
Like bonfires, almost like going out to a field party. Mm-hmm. It's like the same thing.
Because y'all can't go outside because
it's cold as shit, yeah.
It does get cold around here.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody told me, I can't remember who it was. It's like 9 months. Was it you? I think it was Corey. It's like 9 months out of the year. It's just like ice.
I would say definitely 6 months out of the year, it's cold as hell. And then you got probably another 2.5 months of meh. And then you got
What's
maybe
meh?
like mud, gray.
How's there mud? Oh, from the cold?
Well, the snow melts.
The snow melts, yeah.
It turns everything to mud because you have clay, and that retains all the water on the top. So everything just turns into a soup sandwich. It's fun.
Sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm. With a pretty gray sky and
a pretty gray sky.
Yeah, dead trees. And,
is that the state motto? Check out the pretty gray sky.
Well, Pure Michigan, I think, is
Pure
the
Michigan.
motto, and
probably.
there are so many different examples of that. You saw most of those on the way from the airport.
A lot changed in my journey.
Yeah.
Is what I'll say.
You get all 4 seasons.
You got all of them.
Yeah. Rust, violent crime.
Well, no, it's just Michigan to me when I think about it, it just seems like a place that has resiliency.
Yeah.
Right, and it seems to be a common theme with you as well. Right, like your response to not enjoying your corporate career is to, I got to start a new company.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody started a bunch of stuff during COVID. I didn't start anything to that scale, but you not only were like, oh, I have a problem. How do I fix my problem? Then you fix your problem. You're like, I think I can fix everybody's problem.
I knew that there was opportunity, but I didn't know what I didn't know. And I didn't know how many other people were trying to do the same thing, or, God only knows. So it just took a lot of time of, like I said, figuring all the different pieces out. But I started to realize once we started working with some social media personalities.
Oh, I'll pray for you, brother.
Yeah. Great for business from the standpoint of being able to grow and educate and use that forum. If somebody's an entrepreneur out there, you're really trying to start a business and you've got a really unique thing, social media is awesome. Mm-hmm. But it also obviously has its downsides. But
let's name some of the ones you don't like right now.
The downsides?
I'm just kidding. No,
social media,
the social media influencers. Yeah.
No.
I'm just kidding. No. I mean, yeah, it's the wild. It's the Wild West. A buddy of mine said this once, and I can't stop thinking about it. He said, social media right now is like the early days of television.
Yeah.
He's like, it's kind of entertainment, but it's becoming so much more than that. There's no real rules to it.
Right.
Everyone can access it. And in theory, we're all doing the same thing. The results may vary, though.
Yeah, 100%. Well, people have different messages, and people tell them in different ways. And I think some people have an ability to capture others. And if you have a message and you have a way of solving a problem and you can capture people's attention, you can convey that message articulately, then you have a pretty good chance of making it somewhere in the world.
Yeah, the internet's a hard place to convey a message articulately. I can speak towards that. Even when I write stuff down on a piece of cardboard and there's nothing else in the photo, maybe a road, maybe a tree.
And somebody will find something about it.
Yeah, well, at first all they cared about was my tattoos, which in their defense, they are kind of dumb, but they're hella permanent.
Yeah.
And people would, and there was this one guy I remember, I hate that I keep telling this story, but it's on my mind a lot lately. His name's like Brad123. And like he would comment on like every single post. And it was the same thing. Why is this guy wearing the same thing? Why is this guy? And at first I thought he was trolling me.
Yeah.
But after the 10th time, I was like, I thought it was a bit, like a comedy bit. And I realized, no, he genuinely doesn't understand that I'm wearing the same thing on purpose. And I was like, oh man, this guy gets to vote. Like it was, but you know, when everyone was hating me, it was bad. But then he came around the other side and was like, I was an OG day one dude. So it's just funny that even when I felt, it's very simple. Even when you feel it's like most clear, that it's not clear.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's like most of life, to be honest.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, messages can be interpreted so many different ways. Perception is reality, and think of it as no one's perception is really the same. You know, everybody sees things from a slightly different angle. It doesn't matter how aligned you want to be with somebody. You can never have the exact same perspective, and nor should we.
Yeah.
I was telling you about the one guy I worked for a long time, the one general.
Yeah.
He said, you know, if everybody in the room agrees, I don't need half of you. So he invited.
That's a good one.
It is.
That's a good one.
It really was.
It kind of reminds me of what Abraham Lincoln said, right? Everyone in his cabinet, like he had people that agreed and disagreed with him, and that some of his harshest critics were people he put in his cabinet at the time.
Which is exactly what you want.
You want people to challenge you, not to like challenge your authority, but to challenge your ideas and to make you learn and think about what you're doing.
Well, that's the whole iron sharpens iron, you know. And if you're a good leader, not only does that keep you sharp, but it also helps you build sharp leaders. And you're putting the reps into them that they're going to need others to do later and condition it. You're perpetuating that greatness. Yeah. So I think that's another important thing about it when you're doing that. We're actually able to provide something that does have value for people. Be careful with it. Like now it's time to be careful with it because you're going to do a couple things. You're either going to screw it up because you're going to try to move too fast, too hard, make it too flashy, do something and turn people off by it. And that was one thing I didn't want to do. Another thing was to make sure that we were educating people in a way and coming out where we were deemed legitimate and a good source of information and trustworthy. And that's what I focused building the brand around. And that was really that balance of being conservative and cautious, but using social media and being diligent with the influencers and saying, look, I'm going to protect your brand. Please protect mine. This is the approach where we just want to be honest and talk about what these things can do, what they do for you. In fact, before any of the affiliates come on, in most cases, we work with them to show them our capabilities and, you know, kind of prove to them that, you know, when you go to talk about these things, you should be talking about your personal experience. You know, you should be able to say you've felt the improvement, you know, so.
I'm living proof.
Well, and I appreciate
it. And again, we're here. Yeah. I'm here because of this in the sense of full disclosure. I have gone through this. I have compared it to other companies. This experience has been hands down incredible, without a shadow of doubt.
And we're not perfect. You know, we definitely have had our own missteps, you know, a lot of growth in a little period of time. You know, creates holes. You have to go back and fix them, processes, procedure, whether supply chain, you name it. Just like any other company, we're going to experience them. The difference, I will say, is we'll admit to them, we'll apologize for them, we'll try to make it right, and then fix the issue. Which
that's what you're supposed to do.
It is what you're supposed to do.
But it's
right?
sad that it makes you different.
It is
different in the market.
It is, and that's, you know, same thing with the conversation earlier. You know, that's why I have to be so careful with it because, you know, that's what people should do. And nowadays, if you are doing what you should do, that's more questioned than people that are trying to just kind of sleight of hand things. And it's to the point where, you know, that's what scrutinizes. Oh, you're coming so honest. There's got to be a catch here. And well, there's a catch. I want you to pay me. Yeah. But that's the catch, right? You know?
I mean, I was scared. You know, Sarah's just trying to get me healthy and then lead me to slaughter.
Yeah, I mean, really.
You know, that just, I thought that was the business model. Get them healthy, get them gone. You know? Welcome to Transcend. Because like, and I'm definitely jaded with the fitness industry as a whole.
And this is a very difficult industry to get that kind of trust.
Well, it's just because, you know, in the influencing world, I very quickly met a bunch of them, and you know, a lot of I mean, you know, if influencers are bad, fitness influencers are the worst, right? Because they don't even blink. They're like, buy this $20,000 rubber band. Like they just, you know, and so it's tough, you know, because if you ask them things or whatever, a lot of them, I don't want to name names or sound like petty, but like you can't really. I know that what they're doing is kind of just partnering to partner. Like, I've always done the opposite, probably to my own detriment, if I'm being honest. Like, there's a lot of like low hanging fruit and opportunities I could have said yes to that would make my life significantly easier. But I don't, if I'm not a customer, if I'm not a client, I just can't do it.
And that's how you protect your brand. And that's how you stay true to yourself. You know, that's living your culture of what you stand up for every single day. And that's what we try to do here. That's why we always try to meet our influencers through other influencers. We want people that are in those same types of networks, the same type of, aligned in their approach with fitness or their approach in health in general.
Yeah.
You know, it makes things easier. And it's nice to be able to work with people that like to work with each other.
Yeah.
You know, just try to do some common sense type of things.
Well, yeah, and it's such a small space to begin with, you know, especially when you talk about like veteran military people, fitness people. It's definitely kind of the same mentality stuff, you know. And, you know, the thing that's got us both here is trust.
Yeah.
And I just can't be like, hey, if you sign up for anything because like people trust me and they believe in me, that I'm not going to lie to them. And, you know, I always say the same thing, you know, I might be wrong, but I'll never tell you a lie.
You know, and I'm glad, and that's one of the most important things too, because if you're representing Transcend, you're talking about experiences, but you're talking about experiences that you've had with, you know, care. And that's important. If you were to give out wrong information or if you weren't educated, you know, then that could be a problem. We could be causing more harm than good. So I think not stating something and saying, hey, you know, this is my own experience, I don't know about these other things. Being an expert in something or being well educated on something before speaking it, knowing the experience, knowing how the product's going to work, knowing the people that you're, you know, in business with, and then speaking to your followers. I mean, there's a significant amount of value in that. And I think, you know, obviously they know that, your followers know that. But
I hope
that's one thing that we're also very critical on with the people we work with, is to say, you know, before you start posting for the company, let's make sure you really know and understand your protocol. You really know and understand certain things about medications, and also some do's and don'ts, because there's some things that we want to be very clear that we don't promise or say that a medication can do that can't, you know. And sometimes inadvertently things will be said, and, you know, social media, the second anything can be interpreted to be anything in any way,
it will happen.
They will, even if it's just to get the likes and everything else. That, in, you know, our side of things is one thing working with, you'll see we're a little different on is we like to collaborate a little bit more on the content. Yeah. At least to stuff about the Mets.
Well, I think it's just, a lot of it's just being transparent. Yeah. Right. And, you know, and the internet world's like drive-by culture. Like you scroll like that. It's just like driving down the interstate. Yep. You know, that's why Buc-ee's does like 12 signs or however much it is. It's because the first one, he goes, that Buc-ee's? And you go, I don't know. And then you go, oh, that is Buc-ee's. And then as it gets closer and closer, it's that reminder because it's telling you to keep going. Yeah, yeah. It's like it's the same thing. Yes, yeah. You tell something once, they won't know it. You tell them 3 times, they might not forget. You know, it's one of those weird things. But it's, you know, it's just so interesting now because health is at the forefront of the American mindset for the first time, I would say, in a few decades. Like, it's at least like we're having real conversations now. Without trying to toot my own horn, I never thought that, you know, the burger I was getting for $1 was probably the best quality product. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, it's, you know, and I grew up in the early age of the internet, so you know, stuff was constantly
a lot of information out there.
Yeah, you know, 5 burgers for $5. It's probably not meat. It's meat with an asterisk. And you know, it's interesting now to see, like, you know, I don't know if the technical term's a ban, but with RFK and the health department doing where they're removing all the red dyes and stuff. Yeah. And people are like, oh no, that's bad. But I'm like, but it's already like if you get like candy from other countries or whatever, it's not even real candy compared to ours.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like, it's all the dyes and those things are removed. Yeah. You know, we're the only country that allows a lot of this stuff into our food. It's actually kind of scary to see what we're not protected from and what we are distanced from that we probably should focus on bringing more into our healthcare system. that's really been the biggest eye-opening thing about being in this position, is learning so much more about how the FDA operates and how medications are brought to commercial market and just how decisions are made.
Wasn't that done by people who used to work at the FDA?
Usually.
They work at the FDA and then they go work at a company, and somehow that company gets a product to market in like 6 months, and other people take some years.
Yeah.
Probably nothing.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, there's tons of stories about it. It's just, it's interesting to see it on the American zeitgeist, whatever the proper term is.
Yeah.
But like, would you say that has helped or hurt Transcend? Because it feels like it could be either or. Like, people could either be seeking proper information or they could think they already have it.
Well, either way, you still need to get a prescription for the medications. So you still need to be able to go through, like we call them MSOs, a medical service organization, that's going to facilitate all those things to happen. I think it's helped in the standpoint where it's got people asking questions about it. And I think most people, when they really start looking at this, will find out that, generally speaking, the things you read are going to show a lot of benefits and a lot of good information. And you're going to also see a lot of stuff out there that's scary, like you would in any other kind of pharmaceutical type of products, all the bad, negative things. And, those are the things that will lead people that are, I think, a little wiser to reach out and make those phone calls. And if nothing else, for their own knowledge, right, to make sure that what they're doing is safe and legitimate and done in a good way.
Yeah.
And there's others that the more important thing to them is going to be, budget or time constraint, and they might go and get it as a research chemical or something along those lines. Those are the scary thoughts for me when it comes to this, because there's no regulation on that. And I think the FDA, DEA, current administration, I think that might be a focus coming down the road is, with the categorization of peptides and the way they've done things, how should they really be looked at?
Yeah. Seems like they do a lot of good things for people, then all of a sudden somebody says, no, they're bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if the government overnight says something's bad, I usually go, why is that?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Break, clear the net, attention all posts, stand by to copy. Now that I've got your attention, I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much for watching this episode. If you want to help us continue to grow, it's really simple. There's a few things you can do. You can like, comment, subscribe wherever you are. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, drop a rating and review. Every bit helps to make sure that we can keep doing the After Action podcast and get these stories out there. If you're looking for other ways to support the channel, go to veteranwithasign.com. We got shirts, we got merch, we got stickers, we got more. We even got a bunch of ways for you to save in the affiliate section. Check it out. Now let's get back to the episode.
Well, I think COVID changed everything. I think the politicians are starting to see now that even though you had Big Pharma in your pocket before, and maybe they were helping your campaigns and doing all these things, now just being associated with them is a death sentence.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much money you have in your campaign if you're associated with somebody that no one's going to vote for you with.
Yeah.
But if you support holistic or alternative or other types of medications and other types of, healthcare options, we seem to be getting a little bit more time with those types of people.
Yeah. It's interesting. It seems like people are learning together and understanding that, like, oh, well.
Politicians work for the constituents.
Yeah.
We vote. And that means if we vote in a manner that sets a new trend, eventually, slowly, they're going to assimilate.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the one thing that people forget is we actually do have some control. We just need to
we put them there.
Yeah.
And
need to start
you're right. We
it.
do forget that.
Yeah.
We do forget that. We go, oh, I can't believe they're there. I'm like, well, we did that.
Right. And the reason why I can confidently sit there with a little bit of a cocky smile and say I do think they're going to change for the positive is because I put the time, the money, the resources, and the effort to go and to speak to the people that are going to make those decisions and advocate, and explain to them why they are important medications, how they help veterans. And I took the time to do that. I am grateful that I'm in a position that I have the time and the ability to do that. I know most people don't, but you can still hold your, politicians, accountable for those kind of things.
My friend Derek Carver, who's a power lifter, a single leg amputee, and he was there. He won't mind if I tell this story. We're all down there. and he's missing one of his legs. He got blown off in a rocket attack in Afghanistan, and he looks at me and he goes, "Well, won't be doing this." And he takes off his leg, and I'm like, "Oh no!" Like we're about to be in like deep dark water.
Yeah.
It's just one of my favorite moments, and then everything else has changed afterwards. It's just incredible to see the things that are like really happening. I mean, I came through it very, very skeptical. I'm so jaded. Like I need to work on that. It says something about me.
Well, I think that, you know, being jaded, especially in this kind of industry, man, I mean, that's a defense mechanism. I mean, you just...
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I mean, that whole trust but verify. You know, I want to trust you, but I'm going to verify that with a little bit of time and seeing what's a little bit beneath the surface. And that's the thing with, you know, Instagram and everything else. It's all surface.
I know that. You know that. I believe everyone in this room knows that. Yeah. The amount of people who are like, that is reality is a little scary.
It is.
Everyone thinks I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't talk like that. Like, I'm not like, you know, hey guys, just want to take a moment. Like, you know, like there's science behind that. If you speak at certain beats per minute, it actually makes you pay attention more. You know, I equate it to like aliens watching the Sports Center top 10 and being like, these guys are great at sports, like, because it's just home runs or slam dunks or hole-in-ones. It's not everything else is brutal. Yeah.
They're watching Olympic routines.
Yeah.
Don't swim with them.
Yeah. it's just, you know, it takes, I don't know, I'm hopeful in a lot of ways. I haven't been in a long time. And, you know, I think a lot of that too is because my physical is lined up and my mental and the spiritual is coming around as well. And
that's awesome, brother.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to gush about y'all, but y'all are pretty great. I feel so bad for my case manager, but she's
a glutton for punishment, man.
Yeah, I'm like, what is medicine? She's like, just take it every day. Okay. I lost it. It's stuck in my ear. You know.
Oh God, I don't want to out Cowboy for it, but I kind of do.
Shout out Cowboy,
because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Out Cowboy real quick,
dude.
As we wrap it up,
he has his meds in a lunchbox.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, in like a kid's lunchbox. he takes them around with him. It's just awesome. So, you know, like talking about meds and things like that, and I believe his wife's a physician too. But you know, so we taught him about the meds and all these other things. But it's just funny. He wants to talk about him. He's like, "Get my lunchbox."
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Man, dude, he's an American icon.
Oh, dude,
honestly.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to actually watch his last two fights, though. Well, I don't think it'll be the last two fights he ever does.
I won't comment on there because I don't really have any information one way or the other, and I think Cowboy could do whatever the hell Cowboy wants.
Yes,
I think
that's the problem. Yeah. That's the problem is, know, he wants to do 50 fights because it'll give him a UFC record. I think a world record too.
Well, if he's healthy and he does it, you know, like if he's got good recovery things in place, and you know he can train and do all the things, you know, that he needs to, and you know it's not going to damage him. Longevity is one of the things that's important. You know, having certain types of access to medications gives you an ability to just do things longer that you love.
I mean, it's literally a walking testament to the work you're doing here at Transcend.
Yeah.
And again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for having me out here. Thank you so much for what you're doing with the Transcend Foundation. Where can everyone find you? Please let them know.
Absolutely, man. TranscendCompany.com. That's where you're going to find the company. TranscendFoundation.com or org. Either one will work. You know, please take a look at what we do. And if you want to help the veterans, there's a link there to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And,
appreciate being on, man.
The honor is all mine. Thank you all so much for having me out, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, man.